It's Super Future Zone, the official podcast of Superfuture Syndicate, and we're in the same dang place.
Who knew?
Who knew that it could happen? I'm Anthony Carboni.
I'm Samantha Kalman. Thank you for joining us.
Oh my goodness. And you're a traveling lady.
I'm in Los Angeles. We're in the same room.
We're in the same room
What's
in
up
LA.
with that?
And then you are heading, I'm just going to do one of these.
An adjustment. A live adjustment. It's happening.
We're doing a micro
This is
adjustment.
production.
This is production.
Video production, baby.
Yeah.
I am glad to be here. I'm normally living up in Seattle. I'm here in LA for a little time after we did the announcement, post-announced trip, and then GDC is, I guess, the week after next.
Yeah.
But, will be a few days after I get home.
Yeah, so you're doing DICE, you're doing GDC, you're doing all this. We talked a bit about DICE on Into the Verse. If y'all are,
I think that's coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up. So if y'all are patrons over at patreon.com/superfuturegames,
that's the one.
You're going to be able to hear that. But GDC is coming up, and we just announced the game.
Yeah. We announced a video game. Holy crap.
Holy crap. And we wanted to talk a little bit about it and address some things that y'all brought up. Oh, first of all, I just want to say that reactions have been extremely lovely.
Thank you. I'm very happy with the positivity in the reactions. Seems like everyone's sort of picking up what we're putting down, everyone that's seeing it. And it's almost 100% rah, go. This game rules.
Yeah. And I'll say this, the things that aren't 100% rah, go were very constructive.
They are, but can we take for a moment to just celebrate what we did before we get into the constructive criticism?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is to recap, this has been a game in development for a little over a year, and the team has been growing since like the summer, basically. You came on just earlier this year.
Yep.
And it's like a huge milestone to have this thing out there. It's a huge weight off my shoulders. I feel like I can relax for the first time in months. And I'm really happy that it's out there and that people are saying stuff, good and bad.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to everybody who really has been given a lot of positive feedback, because this is the sort of game we were talking about. It looks familiar, but it's not familiar when you dig down into it.
Yeah.
And people really seem to understand that from jump and are really into it.
Yeah, people like what they're seeing, and people are picking up that it's jousting by and large, and it's a tough thing to navigate because it's a new thing, right?
Yeah.
So people are really supportive, really grateful for that support, and now we just get to keep sharing the game and making cool stuff and making it even better. Sharing more stuff.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the haters, though?
There are no haters. That's the beauty of it.
We're done talking about the haters. We did it.
We're done talking about the haters, but there are some things that people brought up, and we said that this week we wanted to address any concerns or questions that y'all had, and we got a couple good ones. First of all, somebody said, hey, you should remove the racing element and turn this into something more like Descent. And
Classic.
I love this comment. Do you know why I love this comment?
Why do you love this comment?
I love this comment because I get to say my favorite thing. It's not a racing game. And this person, here's what I'll say. This person, there is nothing wrong with this person for perceiving it as a racing game.
Right.
This person is not like out of pocket, or I don't think this is the sort of thing where we look at it and we go, this person missed something obvious. No, it looks like racing.
It does look like racing. We tried to figure out how do we communicate what this game is. Because it is something new, it's jousting, but it looks like racing. And there's racing elements, right? Like that high speed. Mm-hmm. Like you don't want to go slow. You want to go fast, because in the game rules, the faster you're going, when you get a joust kill, the more points you get.
Yeah.
And it's a sport, so like the highest team, the team with the highest points wins. So racing.
Smart. That's a smart way to do it.
Thank you. I'm very smart as a person.
You're a good game designer.
I designed the video game. Oh my gosh, my brain. So we knew that it was going to be difficult to talk about this racing adjacent thing.
Yes.
And it's got racing elements, but it is not a racing game in the sense that like first person to cross the finish line wins. It's something else. It's almost like it's jousting, but got like a different scoring mechanic, scoring sports rules.
Yeah. And I think, we were talking about things that we all love in the studio. And those things are like, you and Isaac are both big racing fans, like F1 fans,
absolutely.
like rally fans. And so obviously using that sort of language and that sort of look and vibe when you're designing a sport makes sense, right?
Sure.
We love things like Wipeout. We love things like,
I love riding my one wheel. I will just one wheel around Seattle like a jerk.
I thought about getting one.
It's really fun, Anthony. I'll bring mine next time I come to visit.
I thought about getting. Do you know why I don't have one?
Why don't you have one?
Do you know why I don't have one? Because apparently, and this is very germane and
this is relevant.
This is relevant to the podcast.
Yeah.
Apparently, the One Wheel company has like a bunch of patents and they're very litigious.
Oh.
And so there's a reason why you never see any third party like affordable One Wheels.
Right, because they've got it locked down.
It's because they've got it locked down, and like everybody who tries to make something similar, and it's like, baby, it's just a wheel.
One Wheel, sponsor our podcast, sponsor our video game.
I don't hate you, One Wheel. I don't hate you.
We like your one wheel. In the motor inside the wheel is a cool invention, and it's great. A fun device to ride.
Listen to me.
It's a vehicle.
I just like, if you're looking at the hierarchy of needs in my life right now, One Wheel just isn't there, right. Especially here in LA where I feel like I would die.
Absolutely. I would be terrified to ride it on the streets of LA. Oh my goodness.
But so to go back to this, it looks like racing.
It looks like racing, and Isaac and I love, sense of speed. Mm-hmm. Like I drive a manual transmission car. Mm-hmm. Like there's like that viscerality, and I know visceral is an overused term, but that sensation of going fast, of making cool turns, is part of this fantasy of this game. And just we wanted to add. We didn't want it to just be that. We wanted it to be fighting. We wanted it to be jousting, and so it's both things. I
think another thing that you don't really get from the trailer because things are so early is right now there are only a couple tracks that have been completed.
We've only shown one track.
Yeah, and we've only shown the one. So, and internally for testing, we only have two or three.
We have more than what you've seen.
Oh, okay.
We have a handful of we have many tracks. We have all the tracks.
But by just putting out that one track, which is, it looks like a quarter mile.
It's a classic oval loop.
Yeah. And so you look at it and you're like, once again, if you look at it and you're thinking about racing, that's a racetrack. But there's no reason in the future that you won't see tracks that have very different layouts.
You'll see racing style tracks. The difference is that you're going, the different teams are going in opposite directions. Mm-hmm. So I remember Mario Kart 64 unlocking the reverse version of all the tracks. This game is like half the time you're playing in reverse from the get-go.
Yeah, and there's nothing that says in the future every track will be as linearly focused.
Right.
Though,
we want interesting tracks to fly on. We want good turns. We want good, moment. Like we need straightaways where people are going to be jousting each other, but we also want it to be fun to steer and fly through those turns and make, the right cornering decisions and finding your line.
And we don't want downtime. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing about, if going back to like Descent or even like a Mario Kart to go back to the battle mode, something that's just a wide open play field doesn't really work for this because this is the fight scene from the season 1 of Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
This is like literally, we want you to always be in action.
You're in the hallway. You're fighting baddies left and right.
You're wearing a sock. You don't have your costume yet.
You're getting your face punched till it's bloody.
Yeah, but you when you were designing it, you don't want a lot of downtime, people hunting for the opponent, people trying to figure out where they are.
You're right that getting that timing right on like how frequently is a joust moment happening has been something that's required a lot of tuning. And as the tracks and the turns get more interesting, as other features come online, those tracks may get longer. There may be longer time between jousts but we won't do that unless that downtime is interesting and there's gameplay there. So that's sort of like one of the difficult challenges of this project.
Something we were talking about before we went live here was Bushido Blade.
Oh yeah.
And this does have kind of a Chanbara feeling to me. This sort of like two samurai or the showdown at high noon. Like because it's all about getting one decisive strike.
Yeah.
And something that like I think about when I think back to Bushido Blade is sometimes on a new stage, there was just a lot of running around looking for where the other person was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I not being a samurai right now? Why am I hunting you down in this garden forever?
Why are we playing tag and playing chase?
Why are we chasing each other and, around this garden for 4.5 minutes before one of us like takes a swing?
Right. Right.
So,
something like Descent is a big open space to explore at your own pace, lots of enemies to shoot. It's basically like a free floating dogfighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And we do want to make something pretty different from that. So we want to keep the momentum going. We want you to be always sort of pedal to the metal. We want you to be making the perfect turns and not sort of looking for an opponent. We want you to be targeting the opponent in front of you and getting into that perfect, that perfect angle of attack.
Yeah.
Because it's a mind game. You're trying to like, I'm gonna go this way. Are you gonna follow me? Are you gonna go away? And I might do a surprise, like come from underneath and get you in an unexpected way. Like that's the kind of mind game gameplay that's in the game that works. I think is really fun. That's what we want to keep doubling down on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you're going to see different layouts and you're going to see different things as we go forward.
We will have more over time. Absolutely.
The other thing that we saw was somebody was like, they immediately were like, oh, cool. F-Zero meets jousting. Beautiful. Perfect.
Great.
They were curious to see longer gameplay footage though, because, I think in trailer cuts, especially, the camera, this person was worried about the camera potentially making them dizzy.
Motion sickness.
Motion sickness.
So I've done all sorts of research on motion sickness. Here's what I will say. We want to minimize motion sickness in this game. And we've already done a lot to do that, and there's more to do even. So the first version of the game was first person, and you could do barrel rolls sort of free will. Testing that with people, some people that were susceptible or like really sensitive to motion sickness, that sent them into a problem state right away. So we've done a lot, and we will continue to do a lot to minimize motion sickness. And the cuts from the trailer might be contributing to that. When you're in control of the game, it's a very different experience than just watching something passively from a motion sickness perspective.
I think the other thing is the trailer has a lot of stuff from spectator cam. So a lot of dynamic and sort of more cinematic angles and things like that. If you look at the center of the trailer, there's a lot of like actual gameplay with the HUD up.
Yep.
That shows you sort of what the camera angle really is. And I think you'll find in that sort of thing, it feels more like a Star Fox.
Sure. Star Fox is a big reference. Yeah, that 3D-ness of Star Fox.
Yeah.
I think we're even more 3D than the Star Fox.
But you have that thing where the camera is wide enough, you're set far enough back from your ship, from the Reaver. And I think
there's a lot of room to move.
Yeah, I think once you see a longer chunk of gameplay, which is what this person said, like I'm curious to see that. I think you'll find that it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think it's going to be, unless you're somebody who I think is.
There's always going to be people that are extremely sensitive to motion sickness, and so in order to create a hyperkinetic feeling, we might be in a danger zone for those folks. But we can always provide an option to dampen that kind of motion, keep the controls the same so that there's not like an asymmetry of skill or anything like that, but that it feels a little bit more still or a little bit more dampened for those folks that are very sensitive. But that'll be off by default. And if you're a person that needs to turn something like that on, you know who you are, and we will at 1.0 provide that thing. Look at me committing to features.
Ooh, I love it. That's okay though.
I mean, it's been a tenant for the project already. So
we haven't committed to when 1.0 is though. So we can promise everything.
We might go from 0.9 to 1.1. So we might do that.
Whoops. 1.1 is the update where we don't care about people, where we remove our own human hearts. No, I would imagine that going forward, not just motion sickness, but other accessibility features, graphical options for people who are sensitive to particular, like some people are particular about motion blur. Some people are particular about, that sort of thing. I would imagine all that stuff
we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of commodities in these kinds of settings, especially on PC games. We're a small team, so it's really like, do I have the time to do it before we need to release something? So I won't commit to like a depth or a breadth of what we'll provide there, but we don't really have any options in the game right now. We will have options. We'll have what you sort of expect from an option screen, like a typical game option screen with graphic settings and audio settings. We'll have something there. I don't know how deep it'll be.
We're doing it. Don't you worry.
We just announced this game and we're already committing to stuff in the future. This is wild to me. Can we talk more about the announcement?
Yeah, we can absolutely talk more about the announcement.
So here, what do you want to know?
Those were the two big things that I wanted to address, because I think those are two common things that people wanted to know. Is number one, like, we do want to make it very clear, not a racing game. Not a racing game.
Fighting this fight might be impossible.
This is our one battle. Like, that's why I liked having the comment, is like, I think people are going to look at it and think racing, and as soon as we can, the better we can explain to people, don't worry, not racing.
Yeah. But I think that from like a design and like leadership perspective, and like looking at like how are people perceiving the game, if we're it's inevitable that people are going to make that assumption.
Yes.
So what I want to do is instead of trying to say it's not a racing game at all, you're wrong, what I want to say instead is it's yes and. It's racing and something else. It's racing in this way. It's racing and steering and turning and fast. It's not racing in first person to the finish line wins.
Yes. The feeling of racing. The feeling of racing is what it is, but it's not take 4 laps before the last person does.
Exactly. So to me, when I see people saying like, "Oh, this is a racing game with jousting," I go, "Yes, and it is going to be more combat oriented than maybe you realize just watching the trailer." So I'm saying this to you right now, Anthony, because I fought this battle internally. Like, how do I message this? Like, how do I get people to understand what it is immediately? And I came to realize that like, I can't get them to understand it immediately. They're going to look at this game and say it's a racing game because it looks and feels like a racing game. And they don't have a jousting game that's been really popular in the world to compare it against. So here's what I would say. The closest thing to what we're doing is Rocket League.
Yeah.
Rocket League, here's a fast game that's soccer.
Yeah.
It maybe looks less like racing game at the beginning because it's in a big arena. So we have a track, which makes it complicated. But that sort of dynamic, that sort of sports treatment, that pacing, that's really the space that Versus is in.
Yeah.
It's much more Rocket League than it is actual Formula One.
Yeah. And I think for me, the reason why I love it is because I'm, from my perspective, doing community and doing like outward communication. Yeah. I'm excited to solve this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this for me is like the big thing where it's, and we're sure that a lot of you who listen are at least interested in game development or maybe are developing your own games. I love the challenge of communicating something new about about media, right? Like, oh, this is what we're doing. How do I say it in like 15 words that gets it across, right? Absolutely. How do we show it in a trailer that gets it across? So that for me, I love it.
I love that you love it.
Hit me up on the Discord and be like, this is a racing game. Fight me.
I'm going to do that later today.
This is my Goku under a waterfall with a weight shirt on.
Incredible.
This is me.
Incredible.
The more people ask me if it's racing, the stronger I get.
I love this. But also, I love that you take on this very difficult problem. That's very inspiring.
But also, like, so I love that came across. And then I think the other thing that was important to get across about response was accessibility, because I don't think we had touched on that at all in the first episode. And I was like, oh, we should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. It's really, it's going to be a controller first game. Mm-hmm. Right now, you need a controller to play it. You can't do keyboard and mouse. So all sorts of controller mappings that people are used to for inputs, those, we should be compatible with all that stuff sort of out of the box. That's, I think, really in the end user layer and controls and configuration. I don't have any current plans to do something special with controls and input accessibility. For visuals, I think that there's some work we could do with color blindness and support those different color schemes. And, we need to do more like high contrast, call outs of where your enemies are. This is one of the recurring pieces of feedback. It's not always, but it comes up often enough that it's still a problem we have to solve, is when your opponent, like your target that you're aiming at, is very small on screen because they're very far away, but they're coming at you really fast.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to perceive where they are until it's sort of like it's almost too late. And so there's that, to me, is an accessibility issue of like for everyone.
Yeah.
Of like, I need solving that across the board, which is like one of the most important aspects of this game that's still in pre-alpha, is going to be a huge accessibility win for, visual impairments and assistance in that way. It's like this is the kind of game where everyone needs some of that assistance.
Yes. I mean, that's a good point. Is the game itself, the default look, feel, everything of the game, mechanics, everything is still not set. And so until that is set, doing a lot of the accessibility stuff would require chasing and changing it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what the final look is for something, or how a feature feels, you cannot add accessibility to it because that goalpost is always going to be moving.
Right. Accessibility is honestly something that's going to happen toward the end of the project. And we're still at the very beginning of the project. So
we are going to support the Power Glove, though, right out of the gate.
If you say so,
was I not supposed to say that yet? Was that a surprise?
I will need a Power Glove for testing.
We will need.
Do they make USB Power Gloves?
And the U-Force.
Wait.
We're using the NES U-Force.
Go back to Power Glove.
Power Glove.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
I had an activator. I think it was called an activator.
Yeah, the Genesis, the ring.
Yeah.
You stood inside a ring.
Yep. And then you would punch in different directions, and your Mortal Kombat guy would do high punch or low punch based on which direction you punched.
That thing sucked.
It really did.
I never had one when I was a kid, but later on in life, when I was working at a video game store, we had an activator, and I was like, today's the day, hook up the activator. And we had like activator day, where when people came in, I was just like, yo, the only thing we're demoing today is the activator. Don't ask me to put anything else in.
This is what we got.
Because this was like an indie game store. So, it was usually like, oh, I'm thinking about buying this. Can you put it in so I can play it for a few minutes? And normally the answer was yes. And I was like, is that thing that you want to play Eternal Champions for the Sega Activator?
If not, then no.
If not, then no. Step in the activator.
Incredible.
And what we found is that Activator Day did not last long because the activator was terrible.
Well, speaking of peripherals that still quite haven't taken off, this is going to be a sick burn. Let's talk about VR.
VR. So this initially conceptually was VR, right?
It was. So if you've seen Into the Verse episode 1, you've seen that the first prototype of the game was in the first person view. That's because this game was initially conceived as a VR game that has all this depth perception, and you would have like a rich, flight deck experience with little virtual knobs and buttons and things you could twiddle with your hands and your hand controllers. And unfortunately, my opinion is that the VR market for a game like this that requires a large audience and high speed networking and all sorts of stuff, VR is not there yet. The market's not there yet.
I was also going to say that sounds like a game for 8 people. And I don't mean that in like a condescending way.
I'm one of them.
But it's sort of like, it feels like a game for people who bought Steel Battalion for the Xbox. So,
Oh, we should make it. We should support
the Steel Battalion controller. But you know what I mean? It's like that's entering into a level of simulation, almost like fighter pilot simulation.
Oh yeah.
Where the people who play that stuff, it's a very select group, because you're saying, if you have a problem with, if there's a problem with the visibility of an opponent being far away and coming up on you in third person, imagine it behind glass with all of your instruments and panels and that.
It's very complicated.
It's a cool game idea.
Yeah. And I think
but it's a different thing for different people.
I think that the current third person version of the game would still work in a VR headset.
Yeah.
But what's changed is we are not developing for VR first.
Mm-hmm.
If we ever do a VR support, which we could, but we're not committing, then we're going to support the game that we've already made.
Yeah.
And that the game has to work on a 2D screen. We have to solve these perception issues that would be so easy to solve in VR for a 2D screen, television, computer monitor. You got it. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
That's right.
That's what I have to say about computers.
Well, but we might do the red-blue glasses.
We could do the red-blue glasses.
We might do the red-blue glasses.
Twist my arm.
No, I think...
We need a graphics programmer to do that, because I don't know if there's a red-blue glasses 3D shift full screen shader that we can just drop into Unity.
There's a search bar right there for the marketplace. Let's find out. No.
We'll do that later.
Yeah. No, I love that these are questions that keep coming up, because these are questions for people that have already decided that they love this thing.
Yeah.
And they're asking for far along the line features, because that means they believe in the thing.
Yep.
And they know that like VR is something gets added later, unless it's a game that starts as VR. And they know that people kind of know that these are features that get added. And that to me means, oh, I'm interested in it. I want to stick it out because I'd love for these features to get added, because I'm already thinking about this game existing 2 years from now.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder how much people are seeing the trailer with its minimal content and sort of imagining a full game exists, which does not yet. It's just a pre-alpha.
Yeah, something that people don't realize is it's turn-based. It's turn-based isometric.
Don't mislead the listeners. Anthony, that's over the line.
It's almost, we're taking a Mike Biffle approach to racing.
It's actually, if Versus was alone.
So we're doing like the John Wick or the Tron game, but for racing.
Okay. Apparently that's what we're doing now.
No, but
all BS all the time.
I think there is, and you put me in charge of communications.
It's my fault. I made my bed. Now I have to sleep in it.
No, but I think you're right. People at such an early stage will see something like this, and then they will place their own loves and expectations and things that they enjoy into it, and be like, ooh, I can imagine where this is going.
Yeah. What I'm super feeling good about from the trailer announcement, from the game announcement, and what you're saying is that the people that are seeing it and are loving it are really understanding and loving it. And that's been a pretty like consistent response for this announcement. Like, we didn't go viral. We didn't have like a huge response. We had like, I think, a pretty like modest response, but it was like 99% positive. And not just a positive, it was all super supportive. And so that tells me that even though we didn't go viral for whatever reason, which could be anything in this day and age, could have been that like the Steam Next Fest was going on the same day that we were competing with.
Could have been. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, everyone. Sometimes it's time to announce the thing, regardless of what else is happening.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main thing to underline here is okay, well, let's wait until Next Fest is over. Why? So we fight with GDC?
Exactly.
Well, let's wait until GDC is over. Why?
So we fight with Summer Game Fest?
Yeah, so we're fighting with spring releases. Like, we all know that like March is stacked. February and March are stacked.
And you're right. And that's like something that I wanted to be aware of. There's so many games coming out, and how do we compete? How do we stand out? So the answer that we're trying, and so far is working, is that we grow a community over time.
Mm-hmm.
So these conversations are part of that. The announcement is part of that. What we have upcoming is all part of that. Because I want to get, I want people. What's the statistics? The stats are like, you have to see a thing 17 times before you remember it.
Yeah.
And so I want us to get Versus in front of everyone 17 times. And that just takes time. Yeah. I didn't expect it to be all happening in one day from the announcement day.
Yeah, this is deciding to announce this early on changes the standard sort of release communication, marketing, PR thing that you normally see with the game. Because even if you're announcing beta or early access, and this is something that we've touched on before, there's a certain level of completion to the game already. Mm-hmm. There's a certain level of financial investment in the game already. Mm-hmm. And that means that you are at a position where marketing and PR, if they aren't an internal part of your team, you are already at a part where you've hired an external marketing and PR team or a firm, right? Or your publisher has decided to give you X amount for promotion.
We have none of that.
No. Coming out in pre-alpha is more like, hey, let's see if people like this thing.
Yeah, it's like, what do you think of this?
Yeah. Do you like us? Yes or no? Don't check maybe. You can check maybe. It's early.
We all went to second grade.
You can check maybe. It's fine.
It's fine.
But that's the thing is, can you, in a crowded market like this, with a niche product like this, can you on your own find the audience?
Right. That's the challenge. And because we don't have that sort of backing. This is a game that's made by one designer programmer for a year and one artist for 5 months. Mm-hmm. Compare that to, a Wipeout that is like 30 people for 3 years or 60 people for 2 years or whatever. Like God of War is going to be hundreds of people for years. Like these budgets and these things are enormous. And so we're, the scale of this project is so minimal. And people aren't used to seeing a project in this state at this time.
Right.
Like we're not showing everything that we have, but we're showing an absolute minimum amount to love the game.
There's one cable that's been bugging me this whole time. But
Anthony's adjusting the camera for the audio listeners.
That's right.
I can see the green screen behind you, Anthony. I don't know if
you can't. I'm gonna change that
green
too.
Screen it out.
Yeah, that's gonna be our mascot, Little Reevy.
Little Reevy. Little Reevy. So that was what I wanted to talk about with the announcement, was that like I'm feeling really good about it. It was a good busy day after a good busy several weeks leading up to it. Now that the game is out there, we can be talking about it. We can be adding stuff. We can get back to adding stuff to it and changing it and thrashing it, because we've been polishing. We've been polishing what's there instead of adding new things to it. And it definitely needs things. So now we get to do that more, in public. Yeah. Open development, follow along, look at we'll surprise you along the way. We've got all sorts of stuff up our sleeves.
We had to clean it up and dress it up nice because company was coming.
I had to make it run at 60 frames so that we could capture trailer that looks not like total crap.
Yeah. Listen.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but like, the 60 frames, of course it's going to run at 60, but internally when you're just testing it, it doesn't have to.
Optimization is also something that happens at the very end. Yeah. Even just having a development build that could be doing stuff as a development build.
God, Sam, you crushed it though. It looks overhead. It looks so good at 60 frames.
Thank you.
It looks so nice.
Thank you.
And I know this is something that I've mentioned to you. I don't know if I've said it again. I love just the Y2K, super stylized glints of lighting and reflections and flare, and just, it's so...
Well, that stuff's all Isaac.
Yeah, but it all comes together, right? And these things moving at 60 frames per second with all of this stylistic stuff. It did look really nice for the trailer. I think we put out a really good trailer.
High fives. Yeah. High fives. I'm happy with the trailer. I think we did a great trailer. Yeah. I think that the footage was good. The people that
Area 5 crushed it.
Matt at Area 5 did an incredible editing job. And the people that played the game for trailer footage capture were also really generous with their time to, come by and play some 4-player at my house and, tolerate me trying to set up different shots and instruct them on how to get, we need the Titan Reaver right here so that we need to get the blade that cuts the Mimas Reaver right across the
She's terrible.
nose.
She's a tyrant on set. It's like David O. Russell. Have you ever heard that clip of David O. Russell yelling at poor Lily Tomlin? That's what it's like. Or it's like It's like Christian Bale yelling at that lighting guy.
I was just going to say, hey, I can see you. I can see you.
Oh, good for you.
That's the kind of horrible CEO, power mongering CEO that I strive to be.
And one day you'll get there. I believe in you.
Thank you. I have to practice every day. It's hard. I have to practice more than I have to practice my Buddhism.
Yeah.
It's really, really challenging.
Because they're actually, you wouldn't believe this. They're opposed to one another, those two instincts.
I don't understand. It's almost like a cursed problem, cursed design problem, if you know what that is.
But no, this is, I mean, without touching too much on tons and tons of deeper personal stuff, this is a very testing to see if small and sustainable is a way that you can release a game with the market over the last 5-10 years, just shifting into incredible hyper-capitalism at incredible speeds.
It's ridiculous. I mean, my impression is that this was the only option given the state of the game industry market, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure everyone listening to this is aware to some extent that games have been shutting down, games have been getting canceled, games have been released, big games have been releasing and not finding audiences. Yeah. And it's a very tumultuous time in the industry. So what seemed like the only option to me was we have to find out as soon as possible if this is a thing people want to play. So that's why we put out like this minimum lovable. It's not even a vertical slice. It's like a short vertical slice. It's a core of jousting and flying and cool spaceships and cool track that, is definitely not final art. But the Reavers are the closest thing to final art. Even they are not final.
Yeah.
And it needs, games also have so much sugar, right? They have so much VFX and, pop-ups and like good jobs and that stuff all just takes time, and we haven't been able to that stuff's going to come after we've validated that this is a game that people want to play.
Yeah. That's another thing is this, it's really interesting how much is polished when you see games in early development.
Yeah.
So much of it is polished, right? Like, and so much of what we love about our favorite games are polished. Like everybody talks about, how Persona looks, or the menus in a Sakurai game, or, even going back and touching on Wipeout, like so much of that is end game development.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that's the other thing that we hope gets across is that stuff's going to be there.
It will be.
That stuff's going to be there.
I mean, as long as we can afford to do it.
Yeah.
we need it.
But the core has got to be there first.
Yeah.
And so the way this is being released is I think lovely, because it goes to show people like, hey, if you love the core of this thing and you want to be a part of it and you want to nurture it for a little while, you can see what it's becoming.
Yeah.
And is that still a possible way to do things?
Yeah.
In 2026, for every studio that opens or it gets acquired, 13 gets shut down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. What did I want to say about that? I had a thought about it. I mean,
bad.
It's all bad. Mm-hmm. It's a very scary time to be making games and to be trying to survive in the industry. But I think that we've got something good. Like my style as a game designer is very systems heavy. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? It means that it's going to be fun to play again and again and again. That's why this game is in a very simple loop. It's literally in an oval, because the engagement of flying through that loop and doing combat head to head is really cool, because we put a lot of work into that. Most games, and this is not meant to be a derisive comment, but my opinion is that most games are a content treadmill, right? You have a really beautiful cinematic, you have really great, beautiful characters, you have the game, many aspects and factors of the game pull you down a golden path. Mm-hmm. Often there is only a golden path for the first couple of hours, and you sort of, play the game for 10 seconds and then you watch some cutscenes, or you're sort of, the game is telling you exactly where to go.
Yes.
Explicitly or kind of by the environment, right?
Yeah.
But it's very much like a guided tour of content.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of people making a lot of content. And you can make a game like that with mechanics that are like other games out there. So that people just do what they know already. This is why first-person shooters all have the same control scheme now.
Yeah, I mean, and a certain amount of standardization is good.
It is.
A certain amount of standardization has helped the industry along, I think. But
there's a point.
But everything feeling the same because it's like, well, we've done a lot of market research and we've looked at the profits of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And so we know that it has to control this way. And it's like, oh, okay. And it has to, you know,
right.
13 things on a skill tree is good, but 15 is bad. Yeah. And 11 is terrible.
Yeah.
And like, there's all this stuff where like market research is also good. You also want to make your audience happy.
You do.
But if that
letting it guide the decisions.
Letting it guide the decisions. And like you're saying, cart before the horse.
Right.
The core isn't there.
Right.
And also, like you're saying, if you can get it to the point where every time you go around this same loop, it's exciting.
Yep.
And every time you go around this loop, it feels good. Then from there, you can expand.
And that's where I think where we are is that we have this minimum viable fun to do these loops and do these combats. I think it's a really strong, single or a couple of games to play with a friend. Unless you're like really competitive player, I think that you'll get a great, single match. Matches last around 20 minutes. My goal for the next rest of this project is to make it fun for 10 hours, not just 20 minutes. And so there's just a lot that needs to go into that.
Like gotcha mechanics. We want you doing those pulls and sticking to the screen. You know what I mean?
Yep. We're going to make it. No, we're not going to. I'm not even going to joke. We're about like
every
free
box
to play,
you saw in that train was a loot box.
No loot boxes. I'm pretty confident that this will be a no loot box game.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Anything could happen. I just don't want to make that.
This is getting it to be sticky for everyone is the goal.
And so and that's going to, like Rocket League did, people loved Rocket League only after they played it.
Mm-hmm.
That like getting people to play it for the first time, there's something that changes, something that clicks when you play it. And so that'll be our goal in the short term, just to be getting more people playing the game. We will, turns out, be having some media friends doing some video play tests with us. So please look forward to that. So I don't know the exact dates, but looking good that I'll be able to go play the game with Nextlander and with Giant Bomb.
Lovely.
And probably one or two other of your favorite media groups that I'm just not sure. We haven't locked it down yet. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you'll hear about that on our socials. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram at Superfuture Games.
And YouTube.
You will also be able to hear about it on Patreon, of course, patreon.com/Superfuture Games.
Superfuture Games.
And, if you're one of those people who wants to know, if you haven't played it yet, you can come play. Head to the Patreon.
$5 a month. But also if, you want to wait, that's okay too. Like we're going to keep working on it. But if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, wow, I really want to play this game, you have a way to play it right now.
Yeah. And we just want to say thanks again, everybody, for your amazing response to this. We love that we're finding our people.
Yes. It makes me so happy that I get to share this idea with everyone, and a lot of hard work that's gone into what's there so far. And there's going to be more, but getting to share it with people and hearing that positive response has been just absolutely awesome for me. So thank you.
Yeah. And remember, we will see you again on this show in 2 weeks, not next week. We're going to every other week.
Right. We're going to do this every 2 weeks, but we'll do in the off week, it'll be a patron only podcast.
That's right. So you'll be able to catch that.
Before we shut down completely today, I have a story for you.
Oh.
This is a shoot, everyone. Anthony doesn't know this story. I had a dream.
Okay.
A couple nights ago.
Yes.
I had a dream. Okay. So it was not the night of announcement. It was the night day after the announcement.
Okay.
I had this dream. I woke up and I was like, what was this dream? It was a Mr. Beast dream. Okay. I was at some conference, either an E3 or a PAX or a GDC or something. I walked into a foyer and Mr. Beast was there with like 10 things on the ground. They looked like panels they looked like panels from the back of the Reaver, like an escalator floor.
Okay.
But they were briefcases. And Mr. Beast was like, and there were like, 50 other people in this room, and they were all indie developers.
Okay.
Mr. Beast says, okay, everyone, distributed across these weird looking briefcases, there's $70 million. So who's going to take one? And I just went up and I picked one up. And other people started picking theirs up. Not everyone grabbed one. I opened it up. The inside, it was like, one of those like matryoshkas, like inside there's a smaller briefcase and then a smaller envelope. And I kept going and going and going. And then I found it was like at the very inside, it was like a wad of Danish kroner, like bills of Danish crowns. It was like a collection. It was like a roll of like I don't know, a couple hundred bills of Danish crowns. It was like 200,000 Danish crowns or something.
Okay.
Which is like, I don't know, like, what is that? It's like a couple $1,000s. It's like $20,000 or something.
All right.
And I was like, and he was like, and he came up to me. He was like, do you know what this is? And I looked at him and I was like, oh yes, I'm very familiar with this currency. I lived in Copenhagen when I was working at Unity, but then it turned out, so I had like, that was the amount of the $70 million that was in the briefcase that I chose.
It was asymmetrically distributed,
and
right?
He was up there just like in my grill, like, so what do you think? Danish kroner. And so I woke up and I was remembering this dream and I was like, there must be some part of me that's a little stressed about money, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Do I need a psychologist?
No, I think you nailed it.
Okay.
No, I think you got it.
Okay, we're there.
Also, hey, Jimothy Beast,
you're a real dream I had.
You're not allowed in there.
Yeah.
You're not allowed in our heads, Jimothy Beast. You leave us alone.
The funny thing is, the only Mr. Beast stuff I ever watched was the David Letterman interview. So I didn't even know his stuff otherwise. Very funny.
What a strange. All right, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Inception.
Don't dream about Mr. Beast.
Don't do it.